Welcome to Data Science 1, Probability, Independent Random Variables. Things we're going to need to remember: conditional probability, independent events, joint probability density functions, and marginal probability density functions. Okay, so from way back, I don't remember what video it was, but it was one of the early videos, we talked about the definition of what are independent events. So two events, E and F, are said to be independent if the probability of E given F is equal to the probability of E, which means knowing F doesn't change anything about the probability of E. Okay, and this other condition also must hold as well, which is the probability of F given E is equal to the probability of F, which means knowing E doesn't tell me anything about the probability of F. Okay, and this is a big idea because when you do your experiments, you want to try to make them independent of each other. Okay, so this gave us this property here. So this was probability of E intersect F is equal to the probability of E times the probability of F. Well, we can easily extend this to discrete probability. Let's think about a discrete joint probability distribution. Well, this is equal to the probability x is equal to little x and y is equal to little y. Well, these are two, if they're independent, two different events. So it's the probability that x equals little x and the probability y equals little y, which is just the marginal probabilities. And this is the formula we're going to end up with, and actually we'll end up with one that's even easier than that. Okay, so we have this idea here. Now, we can extend it out into continuous probability distributions if we look at the cumulative CDF, the joint cumulative CDF. Well, that's the probability that x is less than or equal to little x and y is less than or equal to little y. Well, their events are separate if they're independent, so I can just multiply these two probabilities together, which are the marginal cumulative distributions for x and y. We just multiply those together, and that will work. And this can be extended down to the densities as well, which was exactly what it looked like for the discrete case, but that doesn't matter. Now, normally there would be a whole bunch of problems where you go and you show that all this actually works, and then they showed you this theorem, and you're like, dang, that just saves so much time. And, well, here's that theorem. We want to save ourselves some time. So if I have this joint density, then the random variables x and y are independent if and only if this can be factored into a function of x and a function of y. We'll call the function of x g of x and the function of y h of y. So we can say that f of xy is g of x times h of x. Okay, and this is going to really help us out. And let's look at an example where this works. We're not going to look at an example where it doesn't work because it just takes up too much time. And if it doesn't work, you'll know that it doesn't. All right, so we had this as our previous example here, was 4 over 135 times the quantity x plus y x quantity closed. All right, so can we factor this thing? Yes, we can. So if I just move things around, factor this x out, I get 4 over 135x, which happens to be a nice little function here, of only x, and then I get a function here, 1 plus y, which is only a function of y. So I get g of x, h of y. So I have been able to factor this where my g of x is 4 over 135x and h of y is 1 plus y. So x and y are independent. All right, so here's the rules we just came up with. Now this is going to be really, really important later because we're going to be talking about covariance. And if we have covariance, then things aren't independent. But that's a story for later, so we'll get to that in the next video. See you there.